Hi, Pat McMahon once again, and let me introduce you to a number of things. Country radio, nationally recognized country radio, country music, and a country guy, Jim West, who wrote the book, among other books that you've written about Valley Radio, but this one, KNIX, the Buck Owens years. And for those of us in broadcasting, we kind of associate KNIX with all of the years being Buck Owens. KNIX, though, has been around for a long time, but was only a country giant from when?
Well, Buck Owens purchased the station in 1968.
Wait, how much did he pay for it?
He paid $75,000. Can you imagine that? $75,000 for an FM station. A year earlier, he paid $350,000 for the AM daytime station.
And that was, as we reflect back in the old days, that was the period of time in radio when people were saying, okay, FM is the one with the decimal point.
Right.
And everybody had listened to AM radio because it was the only one around.
Right, yeah.
Then a whole bunch of folks found out that music sounded better on FM.
It did.
And that included country music.
It did.
What was it about KNIX, though, that made it such a national power?
Well, the first 10 years they were on the air as a country station, from like 68 to 78, 79, they were a tax write-off, Pat. They were struggling along like a lot of other stations were in the Valley. We had so many of them here. By about 1980, the station took off in the ratings. For over 15 years, it was a #1 radio station.
In a city that has a lot of radio stations, more than most communities this size, how were you involved?
Well, I started there in 1979. I was there for 8 years, and the station went on forever, and it's still on the air under new ownership, of course, today, but it was a great place to be. Teamwork was incredible. I've never been in a more creative radio station in all the years I've been in broadcasting.
But did it get the respect of all of those superstars in the country field, primarily because Buck owned it?
Well, not necessarily. Yeah, Buck, of course, Buck's name on it, and the red, white, and blue guitar was a big symbol of it, but the station started taking off nationally, and just the way that the Owens family marketed the radio station. And we got country singers in to do TV commercials, like George Strait, people like that to begin with, and it just took off like a rocket. And then the Nashville music community recognized the radio station as sort of a benchmark in successful operations and how to market it. With awards. They won the first Marconi Award that came out. They won the Academy of Country Music and the CMA Awards every year for several years. Award-winning station, big time.
Now, we don't have a whole lot of radio people on to talk about their wares, because most of the time folks are aware of them because they either listen or they aren't aware of them because they don't listen.
Right.
They have so many choices in this market. But KNIX, even to the rock and roll guys like me, even to the easy listening folks, KNIX was something different. What was it like to work there?
Oh my goodness. Like I say, it was the most cohesive and creative place I've ever been in 45 plus years in my career in radio and TV. And I've taken things away from there to other markets in programming,
things like that. You mean you
actually
absconded with items from the station and took things from there?
No, it took away the experiences from the station.
Talking about going to the pawn shop.
No.
Somebody has to pay for the production of the book.
Yeah, I didn't take the microphone. No, I didn't do that. But no, I took on the creativeness we had there and the experiences we had there. We were #1 every year. You know, we were out in the streets talking to people and grabbing the listeners, and we put the listeners first. That's part of the big success that we had.
Well, I was teasing you about stealing things from the station, but you did steal an important part of my staff when I was the program director at KRIZ, K-R-I-Z, rock and roll giant.
You know it. Yes, sir.
Well, you stole W.
Stephen Martin.
W. Stephen Martin
from
us.
He's well represented in the book here.
Yeah, well, and so many people are too, the recording artists and the staff itself. So when you're talking about, though, this kind of music, Is it a back then kind of thing? Music has changed and so's radio.
Oh, it certainly has. The radio industry has totally changed today.
Okay, a couple of things to share with the audience about your reflection on how it's changed.
Well, obviously in 1996, the telecom bill in Congress passed where you can own multiple stations, and you had to purchase multiple stations to succeed in the newer era. Back in the 80s and 90s, you know, there's a lot of mom and pop operations still around all over the country, but it just took off like a rocket, and was such a successful place to be.
Well, I hope your book does. It's always good to have one of our broadcast brothers finding a brand new area of success in another field. KNIX, the Buck Owens Years. The book is available where?
It's available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and soon to be, it's also at the MIM here in Phoenix. The MIM.
The Music Instrument Museum.
Yes, sir. The Musical Instrument Museum, bookstore, gift shop up there as well. I just got those in the other day up there, so they've got them as well. Locally, I'm working on some more bookstores.
And we're available at that same place too. Here, I'm not talking about the MIM, talking about Channel 7. As I regularly say to you, let me introduce you to, in this case, Jim West. Thanks for being with us.